Human Rights Watch is deeply honored to receive the Juvenile Justice Without Borders Award from the International Juvenile Justice Observatory. In our work around the world, we see far too many children who are locked up with little chance of a decent future because of overly punitive responses to alleged offenses. Too many governments use detention as a first rather than a last resort and neglect their obligations to ensure children's rehabilitation and their reintegration into society. Human Rights Watch has worked around the globe to document abuses against children in criminal justice systems and to advocate on their behalf. Our investigations have spanned countries on all continents, including Brazil, Burundi, Egypt, Lebanon, Pakistan, Papua New Guinea, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and the United States. We've documented numerous abuses. Children subjected to mass arrest and detention, not because they've done anything wrong, but because they're in need of social protection and programs are not available. Children are detained for running away from home, for begging, for consensual sex outside of marriage, or even because they've been raped and ostracized from their families. We've seen horrific conditions of detention for many children, including severe overcrowding, filth, lack of food, or even the most basic medical care, and no access to education. We've also documented egregious acts of abuse by police and prison guards against children, including beatings, verbal abuse, and torture, to elicit confessions, as punishment, or for no reason at all. In some countries, we continue to see the use of the death penalty against children for crimes committed before age 18, despite strict prohibitions in international law. And increasingly, children are detained without charge for alleged national security offenses as more and more countries pursue harsh counterterrorism measures. In recent years, our work has focused on the United States. This is because the U.S. has one of the highest incarceration rates of any country in the world and subjects children to some of the most excessive sentences anywhere. For example, the United States remains the only country in the world that sentences people to life in prison with no possibility of release for offenses committed before the age of 18. Children as young as 11 or 12 have been sentenced in adult courts. Excessive sentences of 25 years, 50 years, or even life imprisonment are not uncommon for children in the United States. The burden of this injustice falls on children of color. Black and Latino children are significantly more likely than their white peers to be tried as adults and given harsh sentences. For a dozen years, Human Rights Watch has worked to reverse excessive sentencing of children in the United States. We helped organize successful campaigns in California that have ended the practice of sentencing children to life without parole, ended the transfer of 14 and 15-year-olds to adult courts, and required judges to be involved in any decision to send a 16 or 17-year-old child into the adult criminal justice system. We're encouraged that lawmakers are beginning to see children in the criminal justice system differently, and for the last few years, detention rates in the United States have finally begun to fall. Our work is strengthened immeasurably by working with partners, and we are committed to a global movement to reduce or perhaps even end the detention of children. We recognize that community-based alternatives for children who have committed offenses are not only a child's right, but also more effective. Community-based programs are cheaper, have lower recidivism rates, and are more likely to help children thrive as adults. Again, we're very honored by this award, and we're privileged to continue our work for juvenile justice. Thank you.